Hi everyone, this is Meir. I'm trying to count the years that I spent working on myself and with others. I started my work when I was a little bit younger than the age of 17. If I'm looking at the exact number of years that I worked, was 46 and a half years since I started to work on myself. And it is an amazing adventure. I will never forget 3 days ago when I was teaching my 6 day seminar that was very nice and very successful. A lady who studied with me in the early 80s in San Francisco met me in my class. Her name is Karen, and she did wonderful work. She was able to rehabilitate one woman who was supposed to be basically dead, and after that, injured in her brain for life. And she rehabilitated completely and met me in a coffee shop a few years later. But Karen met me and said, "Oh, you're still doing this work." Well, I'm going on strong, and I like to say that, yeah, I looked better when I was 20, but life can start at the age of 60 as well. So today, at my 60s, I can still run for 20 miles if I want to. I have to deal with the fact that everybody offers me a meal from time to time, and so a little bit of overweight has to be dealt with. But basically, I'm in as good shape as many people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I want to share with you the different things that can be done for the body. So I want to tell you a little bit about my own story. And Jean, can you bring me the picture of the two eyes, please? Thanks. And the story is this. I was born with cataracts. Now, after the age of 65 or 70, I would say that more than 60% of the people have cataracts. And if you're 80 without cataracts, it's considered to be an unusual thing. But um, there are people without cataract, which is great. I've met several. But being born with cataract is very unusual. Only 1 out of 20,000 infants worldwide are born with cataracts. And in my generation, physicians were not very knowledgeable of what to do with one who was born with cataracts. They were extremely surprised in that almost everyone who had cataract um, at the age of 50 or 40 who was operated ended up having normal vision with thick glasses. Just remember, there were first thick glasses, then there were contacts, and then there was implant. But in my generation, there were thick glasses. So they thought that most people have basically normal vision after their lens is being removed, and that the lens is being replaced with a thick magnifying lens, basically. Maybe some differences, but basically the vision is okay. And how come? Everyone who was born with cataract, or maybe almost everyone who was born with cataract, became blind for life. What happened? Well, they did not know about something very interesting. About 10 years after I was born, there was an experiment with kittens and baby monkeys where they would patch them in a critical time of infant development. And they discovered that if they would patch them in that time, they would be blind for life. And so cataract or any other kind of vision problems that blinds you in early infancy and is not being remedied causes you to not see for the rest of your life. So my two kids, unfortunately, were born with my cataracts. I think I was the anomaly for different reasons. And my kids were uh, uh, inherited it in their genes. And they were born with cataracts. And the result of the fact that they were born with cataracts was that uh, they could have um, my life. I mean, or they could follow my path. I used to read Braille before I did my eye exercises. But today, medicine removes the lens at the age of 2 weeks of life. And what it was discovered at the age of 8 weeks is when the brain wants you to see and builds up the visual concept until the age of 2.5. This is a very interesting concept, but it's much more than interesting in the case of my kids because the lenses were removed on time. And in fact, there were even complications. There was a growth in the lens capsule, and that was removed at the age of 6 weeks. My kids see better than anyone who was born with cataract and was operated successfully. Because most people who were born with cataracts and were operated see between 40 and 50% vision, which is still something wonderful comparing to my generation. For example, mine was 1%. They normally see between 40 and 50%. They can read and write and sit in the front row and read what's on the board. But my kids see 100% vision. And I can tell you about my kids in a later date, but their physician was so impressed with their improvement, and he was known as the top ophthalmologist in the world for pediatric cases, that he wrote a wonderful letter of recommendation for me, which I quoted in my book, Vision for Life. So the combination of doing the correct medical practice and eye exercises made a big difference. But I did not have that luck. Physicians, again, did not understand why kids who were born with cataracts cannot benefit from the surgery that adults do. And to begin with, my surgeries were done at the age of 4 years, while my kids' surgeries were done at the age of 2 weeks, and secondary surgeries by the age of 6 weeks. So I did not have the original brain development that everyone who watches this webinar, unless you were born with cataracts, I did not have your brain development. But my kids did. They developed normally. They had very strong magnifications to do it. They were very nice contact lenses, but they developed normally. However, with the eye exercises, they went way beyond normal. And in my case, my surgeries were done at the age of 4 years, 200 weeks too late. My brain could not develop. By the age of 2.5 years, your brain, your visual brain, finished developing. And your occipital lobe, which is the area here in the back of the head, that area that sees, have gotten all the information it needs, and then it kept developing with your life. So that's a great thing. Because my grandmother, my parents were deaf. So my grandmother took on herself to go with me to physicians. And she was very, very, very diligent and tried very hard to get them to do all the surgeries that existed. She went to many physicians and they gave all kinds of ideas. One was even to replace my eye with her eye. I'm so happy that it didn't happen. She would have been blind and I would be too. But the other one was to cut sections of the lenses that have more opacity in them. But that did not succeed. 99% of my lens is a scar tissue. Let me just show it to you. This is a normal lens. And this is my lens. After 5 cataract surgeries, that's how my lens look versus normal. You can see both. So I am sitting in front of you with 70% vision when originally I had 1%, where I can read, write, and drive. And I succeeded to do all of this with the exercises that we'll demonstrate on this webinar. The exercise that I was going over through all my 6-day eye classes and even 1- and 2-day eye classes that I have. And I would like you to diligently work with my books, because there's always more information in a book that you can give in 2.5 hours. But through the demonstration, what's in the book will be clear to you. And we also have videos. And I want to create a revolution. I'm very defiant against my blind certificate. I got a blind certificate for good from the state of Israel. No one gave me the chance to improve my eyes. There is no physiotherapy for the eyes. And you should be defined also when you hear the word no. I met yesterday with a wonderful woman. She took the 6-day class. She's also a nurse by profession. One of her professions was to be a nurse. And also, she had, for different reasons, taken prednisons, which, in my opinion, were hard on her and could easily cause glaucoma. So she was given drops against glaucoma for 2 years. And then she decided to get rid of the prednisons and to not take the drops. And that worked. Her pressure became normal. Her vision became normal. And she came to me to deal with a lifelong problem that she has with having one lazy eye. Now, this is another thing I want to say. A problem like this could also lead to glaucoma because lack of balance use of the eyes could cause it. But she, my heroine, who I will not name because I didn't ask her permission, so for privacy, my heroine, at the age of 71, is coming to repair what was her problem for her whole life. And it's very important for me to tell you that glasses are not a good solution. You know, we think you don't see well, put glasses on. But when you put glasses on, then the problem is that the glasses have a fixed point. And the fixed point, it causes you to see in a very narrow way. Most people with glasses have a very frozen gaze, frozen stare. And so it's very, very important for me to tell you that while glasses help you see better, helps you to control your world, helps you to do what you need to do in your life, they basically are a problem. Two problems. One, they get you to have a frozen stare and you see with part of your retina and not all your retina. And that part works very, very hard. And things move in that part rather quickly. And the result could be many, many problems. And, you know, they gave as an experiment chickens. Now, that's pretty funny. They gave chickens minus prescriptions because, you know, glasses for nearsighted people are minus prescriptions. And so they gave chicken minus prescriptions, and their eyeballs became long within 3 days. Glasses cause increased nearsightedness. And sometimes to the extent that you start to have high myopia, and I consider high myopia 8 diopters or more. And that is a result of the fact that you need stronger and stronger and stronger prescription throughout your life. And so glasses are a big problem, even though they work. I don't tell people, just get rid of your glasses. I tell them something else, which I will bring up very soon. Now, contacts have less problems than glasses in that term, because contacts move with the eyes. So glasses also kind of tells the brain, don't pay attention to what outside the frames. So pretty soon you don't pay attention so much to your periphery, which is a problem in the 21st century. I can tell you that. So contacts don't have that problem. They move with the eyes. Here's their problem. They block air from coming to the eyes. And oxygen permeable contacts are not so oxygen permeable, and they get dirty very quickly, and you see through fog. The other thing is that the body should reject any foreign object. In fact, the eyes should not want to have any foreign object touching them. And so when the eyes have a foreign object touching them, then the immune system works quickly to clean it. So that's how we protect ourselves from dust particles and other problems. But when you wear contacts, you have to adapt to a foreign object in your eye. And that leads to a weakening of the immune system of the eye, which could lead to many, many problems. It's interesting. The doctor said that contacts are safe until they started to administrate LASIK. And then all of a sudden they found that contact could cause ulceration of the cornea. Well, they're a bit exaggerating. It happens in very few cases. But it does cause weakening of the visual system. Now, don't start me on LASIK. One of my participants in the class that you're going to see today in the webinar told me that her surgeon, who did a cataract surgery with her, does LASIK. He's a great LASIK specialist, but he wears glasses himself. But he's not the only one. I remember that at 2:07, I had a radio show in Jerusalem with an ophthalmologist, a holistic ophthalmologist. And in that time, she said, and I'm willing to bet today many more, that 200 surgeons perform LASIK in Israel. 125 of them wear glasses, and none of the 200 had the LASIK surgery done on them. And she said to me, if that doesn't tell you something, what does? Well, of course, LASIK is basically a butchery. You cut part of the cornea and you make glasses out of it. You don't really fix the length of the eye. You don't fix the myopia. You don't deal with the original problem that causes the eye problem, but you basically make glasses out of the cornea. And some people do that cutting more than once because after 7 or 8 years, the new prescription just doesn't work for the eye. And it can lead to more problems than we can imagine. Among them is, it's very hard to measure your eye pressure to know if you're developing glaucoma or not because of the thinning of the cornea. But there are many others, like astigmatism. And I think they'll discover more and more problems with LASIK as we go. I would like to say it's a successful surgery. Many people have LASIK, and then after that, the vision is very acute. But I met some people who had pain in their eyes for a long time, who had problems with night driving and many others. And if you had LASIK, by all means, do the eye exercises because they will help you strengthen your visual system, since LASIK have really weakened it. It weakened it in so many ways that I don't feel like spending and talking all about them because we're going to spend the whole webinar just talking about the problems that LASIK gives to the eyes. So, am I an opponent of all medical treatment for the eye? Absolutely not. Do I tell you to get rid of your glasses right away? No. If you wear glasses, then do the eye exercises diligently. If you see that you really do them diligently, then 2 or 3 weeks after you start to do them, go to a fine optometrist, one with open mind, and ask him to reduce the prescription from 2020 to 2040. Do we have an eye chart?
I have a small one in the room, but I have some others.
You can give me one, yeah? Yeah. So if somebody sees 2020, which means he sees this line from 20 feet, the third before the bottom, then with glasses correction, you would only see the 2040 line. But then the DMV allows you to drive with 2050. So you can have glasses, especially for driving in the daytime and being safe, and put them often in your pocket. And I discovered within 2 months of wearing the 2040 glasses while putting them in the pocket, while doing diligently the eye exercises, the same glasses that cause you to see 2040 get you to see 2020 or close to it. And after a while, it takes a bit longer to reduce the next prescription to 2020. But believe me, after 3 or 4 prescriptions, the average person hardly ever uses their glasses, and they use much thinner glasses from far away in the theater. So I want to tell you that we've seen many miracles. Just in the last 6-day class, all of a sudden, a woman who could see only very large print. Do we have large and small print here? Very large print in the beginning from this distance. She was able to only look at this print, the first print. She was surprised to see she could see this print within 3 days of the 6-day class from the same distance. So miracles or so-called miracles can happen because what's missing in medicine and why I want you all to participate in this seminar and to do this work is I want you to work on improving your vision, get your vision better. Okay, I cannot deal with people whispering in the room right now. Okay, sorry about that. So sorry, I want to say this is like in any other classroom. I have this thing. We are new in this, and the most important thing for me is to bring the material, but we also have to deal with everything around it. So I want to really create a revolution right here. And the revolution is I want you to be aware that your eyes can get better. So then your neighbor and your friend will be aware that their eyes can get better. So then maybe your physician will be aware of the fact that people's eyes can get better. And that eventually would lead to a people revolution. It happened. You know, chiropractors used to sit in jail for many years until the Teamsters demanded to have chiropractic as a part of their health benefit. And then they became legal in all 50 states in the United States, still illegal in many other countries, but legal in many countries. Acupuncturists used to sit in jail on a regular basis until the current governor, Governor Brown, but in the 70s, when he was first governor, was able to push through the state legislature new legislation that made them legal. So, you know, consciousness can grow. But this is actually a big revolution because even people in the holistic health field really don't believe that eyes can improve. Anything else but eyes. Eyes can improve. And I want to start with the 9 principles of natural vision improvement. You can easily find in my books, my latest books, Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing and in Vision for Life. And the principles are such. Number 1, deep relaxation of the eyes. That's number 1. Number 2, adjustment to different light amplitude and frequencies. Number 3, looking at details. Number 4, looking at the distance. Number 5, expanding one's periphery in modern life. Very important. Number 6, balanced use of the eyes. Number 7, balanced use within each eye. Number 8, body and eye coordination. And number 9, more blood flow to the visual system. Because we're having a 5-session webinar, we will have the ability to cover those principles. And I want to start with the first principle of relaxation for the eyes. These days, people look a lot from near. You're probably sitting here looking at your computer screen or at your smartphone, and you're trying to see me from a distance which is close to you. Of course you should, because you want to see the details that I'm showing you. When you read from near. When you look at anything these days, it's normally from near. And in interurban driving, we look close to us. We look at the car behind us, the car in front of us. We also look at signs, but that is only from time to time. And most of the time we look from near. But most of our life is from near. The lens of the eye is built to be either flat when we look at a distance or round when we look from near. And it's important for me that that when we look at a distance, we do it deliberately, because most people don't have anything that gets them to look at a distance. We will quicker look at a poetry about nature than look at nature itself. And I think one of the reasons that our school is by the ocean, and in this webinar, not in this session, but we'll have some wonderful clips from the ocean. I work with the waves. We're near the ocean because the waves are always interesting. But many people tell me that their cities are not so interesting to them, not after a while. And even the city of San Francisco, with its great beauty, sometimes become benevolent to most people's view. And sometimes they get tired of what they see. Well, that is a part of not seeing well, looking from near. The eye strains to look from near. The eye strains very much to look from near. Let me demonstrate it to you. And again, you are now in a class. And by the way, I want to again tell you my phone number. I hope nobody calls for technical reasons. Call the office at 415-665-9574 and we'll help you with them. But for questions, essential questions about your health, other people's health, or more than that, what I'm talking about, please call. We may even put you on speaker or repeat your question. And I would like to be interactive with you. See it as a class and don't see it as a program you're watching. So let's do it. Please be sports. Look at your hand at the tip of your nose. See how strenuous it is to look at your hands from this distance. Look at the lines. Look at the palm, even the fingers. Now, look away. Look out of your window. Unfortunately, we had to put the blinds down here so you'd see me better on your camera, and it still is very lit room. But now I want you to look far away out of your window and see how easier it is for the eyes to look at a distance. Let's do it just once more. Look from here at your palm, at the edge of your nose, and then look far. You see, when you look far, the lens becomes flat. So it does not strain to see. The ciliary muscles always constrict when you look from near. Of course, you don't look at books from this distance unless you're legally blind. I did that with a strong magnification. Yeah, you don't do that. But even this distance, about 1.5 feet from your face, is strenuous for the lens. You just don't feel it because it's not much of a strain. But you got to understand that most of our life is from near. If you were a 2.5-year-old infant anywhere in the world with normal vision, you'd see the same. Some, of course, would see better, some would see worse, but most would see better than 20/20. They would see a line clearer, a line smaller than 20/20, a line that a person with 20/20 can only see from 15 feet. And I want to show the chart. Okay, so again, I like to repeat that 20/20 is seeing this line from 6 meters or 20 feet. And I hope that Konstantin will show you this on the internet and show you how the chart looks like. And 2015 is seeing even a smaller line from the same distance. So the person who sees 20/20 will have to stand from 15 feet to see that, right? Which is better than 20/20. By the way, my son with his cataract glasses can see 2015, unheard of, right? But that's an amazing thing. People can do it. So normally, at the age of 2.5, maybe at the age of 3, most infants anywhere in the world, perhaps right now, 500 million of them, can see this line better than 20/20. Now, if you are native in the Amazon, as you grow, you'll see 2010. You'll see better than 2020, 2015. And then you'll see even better than 2010. You would see minuscule details. But if you were born in the city, then your vision is going to get slowly but surely worse and worse because of a lot of reading, and worse than that, looking at smartphone and looking at computers. We see worse all the time. And at times it develops to real pathologies and poor vision. It is almost impossible to see a person in their 50s who does not need to wear glasses to read. And the reason is that our lens becomes stiffer and stiffer with time. And that's one of the reasons that so many people have cataracts. The lens becomes stiff until it changes its structure and it becomes opaque. So I will soon show you the exercise of deep relaxation, but just be aware of one thing. No one exercise works on everything at once. And I need a palming stick. Okay? No one exercise works at once in a great way. Exercises work in different days, in different manners. Now, it's very hard for most people to hear that because we always think, let's do a simple routine and that routine will fix us. No, this is a practice of deep awareness. Exercises work in different times. So, for example, palming is an exercise where we put our hands ever so gently around our eye orbits. So what I mean by eye orbits is that the heel of the palm touches the cheekbone and the fingers touch your forehead. Again, the heel of the palm touches the cheekbones and the fingers touch your forehead. And your hands will never put pressure on the cheekbones. What is also not allowed with palming is lifting the shoulders up. I know of one wonderful therapist who told me that a key word that she says to her clients is, your shoulders are not your earrings. Don't lift your shoulders. In that, you shorten the neck. So palming stick is a stick that you could make higher or lower, which you're welcome to work with. We finally have a bunch of them made for the school and they're available for sale. But what I also want to talk about is if you don't have a palming stick, use a pillow. I have 5 palming sticks in my house. So every room that I sit in great comfort and do it. So the exercise of palming is that we rub our hands. And we put the hands over the eye orbits. But before you do it, we must loosen up the shoulders. Let's do a couple of exercises for that. First of all, put your hands on your thighs and use your thigh as a base, and your hand is like an anchor, and move your left shoulder in rotating motion in both directions. Be very mindful of the fact that we are only starting. This is my 3rd webinar. We are technically not in the best place, but we finally have a good cameraman who is showing how I'm doing my work. So we have this in rotating motion. It has to be smooth. Now, it will surprise you. When you focus on the area that you're working, you work with it better. So tap on the tip of your shoulder and say shoulder tip. Again, you're not on a television show. This is not a lecture. This is a workshop, or we call it webinar. I wish there would be another name that brings up workshop. I want you to work with me. So please do that. There are not that many of you, and I want all of you, with no exception, to work with me. So now say shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder tip, out loud as you tap gently. Your hand is like a trampoline on your shoulder, and you say shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder, and now move the shoulder. And my question to you is, does the shoulder feel a bit looser when you do that? Again, tap, shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder tip, and move the shoulder in rotating motion in both directions. And now I need the camera to move to show my whole arm. So now I'm moving my whole arm in rotating motion in both directions. It still doesn't show my whole arm, so maybe I should move a bit back, okay? And you can see my whole arm moving in rotating motion in both directions. I guess for the camera, I have no hand, right? I did top, so I'll do it. I'll move a bit more back. All the way in rotating motion in both directions, right? So now I tap on my thigh and I say fingertips, 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 fingertips. All of you say it out loud. Fingertips, fingertips, fingertips. And now I move my whole arm in rotating motion. And here's my question. Does the arm feel lighter? And let's continue here. Move the shoulder in rotating motion in both directions. And my question to you is, does the shoulder feel lighter? Now compare the two shoulders. Is the shoulder that you worked on looser? Now tap here and say shoulder tip. Shoulder tip. I want to hear you, even if you're from the other side of the world, saying shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder tip. And now you move your shoulder in rotating motion in both directions. And by the way, breathe in and out through your nose, nicely and gently. So we move the shoulder in rotating motion in both directions. And we tap here and we say again, shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder tip. And move the shoulder in rotating motion in both directions. Now take the arm up and move the whole arm in rotating motion in both directions. And tap here and say fingertips, 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 fingertips. And move the whole arm in rotating motion in both directions. Fingertips, 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 fingertips. And again, move the arm in rotating motion in both directions. Now move the shoulder in rotating motion. And move the two shoulders in rotating motion. And now move your head in rotating motion a little bit in both directions. And breathe deeply and slowly. Rub your hands again. And I will pick up the palming stick. And I'll sit a little bit closer to the camera. And I will put my two hands over my eye orbits. Do you see I have something to lean on, which is a little bit below shoulder level. It is upper chest level, right? And I'm putting my hands around the eye orbits. Again, remember, very, very gently. And in real time, I will palm for the next 3 minutes. Actually, you know what? I'll do it for the next 6 minutes. So it would be nice if someone in the room will tell me when 6 minutes are about to go, because I don't see anything. So as I palm, again, remember you don't put pressure on the cheekbones. The elbows are very, very gently put over the palming stick. As I palm, I breathe deeply in and out. And I feel that my abdomen expands and shrinks. And Jean, you're invited to sit down with a palming stick and palm with me in front of the camera as well.
Okay.
And so, Cameroon, let us know when another 5 minutes are over, okay? The feeling of palming, I cannot even describe. It's a deep meditation. It is something that every modern person owes to him and herself to do for at least half an hour a day. If you do it for half an hour a day in a way that works for you, you may find your eyes being so much less fatigued, but more than that, nurtured. The minimum is 6 minutes, and that's why we're doing the 6 minutes in the webinar. I decided, again, to not simply demonstrate, but to work with you. As I palm, I inhale and exhale through my nose. And I will count for all of you 6 when you breathe in and 9 when you breathe out. So slowly exhale through your nose all the way. Inhale and count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do it again. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Try to count on your own. Slowly inhale and you slowly exhale. And remember, no pressure on the cheekbones. Again, don't be simply a spectator. Do the work. Now, visualize as if you're seeing darkness, maybe even blackness. Visualize that your whole room is dark and black. Even visualize that inside you're black, that your head is black, your neck is black, your chest, your abdomen, your thighs, your knees, your calves, and your feet, they're all black. Breathe deeply and slowly. Now, breathe deeply and slowly. Visualize your room is black. And visualize you're seeing movement in black, like a boat sailing in the dark of the night in a black river. Clouds moving. Train riding with no light in the night. Any image which is a pleasant image for you. Any darkness that gives you a pleasant memory. A nice dark cave. A beautiful dark night. Just remember it right now. Slowly take the blackness out of the room, out of your legs, out of your upper body, out of your head, out of your anywhere that you get black. Just see black in your eyes. And keep breathing. And that breathing you maintain. Remember that the eye is 94% fluid. You can never press on your eye. You can never even press around the eyes unless it's a very short time that you press. And breathe deeply and slowly. Slowly and deeply. How much time is left? Come on.
It's been six minutes.
Okay, and we slowly take our hands off. It's amazing that I had a sense when 6 minutes were up, not looking at the clock. This is a short palming for me. I've done much, much longer palming than that. But my eyes feel rested. How do your eyes feel?
Very well.
Okay. And so without resting the eyes, we cannot improve them. And so we'll take a very short break, and I will return and continue to talk about the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth principles. So I already talked about the principles today, and a nice person was calling. I want to hear him. Okay, so your question is good, Leon. When we do palming, this is Meir, by the way. When we do palming, the eyes are closed most of the time. Some people instruct to do palming when the eyes are open, and that's good too, but close is much better. Thank you for calling, and I want other people like yourself to call me if you have more questions. This webinar is 2.5 hours. Always call, okay? Thanks. All right, good. So I would like to talk about principle number 2. And Jean, you can see it here again. And principle number 2 is light. Let me show you something. All of you take a page with large and small print. So at this point, I will demonstrate with Jean her capacity to read this page. So Jean, look at the page and tell me if you take a look at it, and if Konstantin in any time can show the page to everyone out here, if we can show this page, I want to see which number you can see. Okay, so which number are you able to see?
6 easily. Yeah.
6 easily. Wonderful. Easily. Wonderful. So now we're going to do a whole other exercise. We're going to open the curtains and open the window. I'm sorry for the quality of this, but we're going to do just that. So we will open the curtains. And Jean, please go and sit outside.
Mm-hmm.
And this work is both indoors and outdoors. And right now we're going to do the work outdoors. And we will show the exercise of sunning. And Konstantin, if I can ask you to show again the exercise that Sylvia was doing after we're going to show the sunning that we're doing. Okay? So sunning is done in this way. I'm going to talk to you about it right here, and then we're going to see how Jean is doing it. You close your eyes, and you move your head all the way from side to side. So let's say that my hands are the sun. Okay, the sun is right here. I'm facing the sun with the bridge of my nose. Again, I'm facing the sun with the bridge of my nose. My eyes are closed, but they're shut so gently as if I'm just about to go to sleep. That gently. And I'm moving my head all the way from side to side. So I move my head all the way to the right, all the way to the left. So my eyes will be facing the sun, but again, remember, with the eyes closed. And then I will move the head from side to side. So I know that some people are back east and they don't have sun. And even here in San Francisco, we have a cold period. But I want to show you how Jean does the sunning, and for that you can take the camera out. In the meantime, also Konstantin can show you how Sylvia is doing sunning with the video. So go ahead and show the sunning that Jean is doing. So she went outside, and she's facing the sun, and she's moving ahead all the way from side to side, and she's making sure that the rotation will be complete. All the way from side to side. And you can put Sylvia anytime. Yeah. So we're going to also show you how Sylvia, we've shown it last week, but we'll do it again, maybe a shorter version of it. How Sylvia is also doing it. She was a patient of mine from Portugal, came here to do the eye work and improved a lot. How does the print look to you right now? Do you clearly see number 6?
Yeah.
Can you read it for us?
You may feel that wearing glasses relaxes your eyes.
Wonderful. Is there anything you can see in number 7?
Of all the eye exercises, calming, a visualization of darkness coupled with awareness of soft.
Okay,
expansive-
so before you could see 6, right? And now you can see 7.
Yeah.
And I remember during the class there were moments we could see few letters of number 8, right?
Yeah, I can see some letters there too.
Can you make up a word?
Yeah. The cone cells of the retina supply daytime.
Wonderful. Now, number 7 is 2020. So 8 is better than that. Jean is 62. Okay? To being able at that age to read this without glasses is a very good accomplishment. Jean, tell everybody a little bit about your story in short of what happened with you and your vision.
Yeah. In 2011, the ophthalmologist, the surgeon, told me that I had a degeneration of the retina. It is pseudo-lamellar hole, and he wanted to make a surgery, vitrectomy, where they put away the vitreous and put instead some gas or some silicone. And I had some experience with this surgery. My husband had the same surgery and he lost his vision. So it was clear for me it was no. So in my mind, I was going to the holistic word, where it is my tendency to try to make something for me before to try something more intrusive. So I try everything, every kind of treatment, energetic treatment, acupuncture, and better food, more exercises, dance, everything. And it was not enough. And after 1 year, one day I opened a book in a bookstore, Raymond Francis book translated in French, and it was at the only page where Meir was mentioned. It was written Meir Schneider, Yoga for the Eyes. So I had my answer. So I met him in New York. I'm living in Quebec City, far away from San Francisco. So I met him in New York, and for a private session, 2-day workshop and a lecture, and I came back with his book and my homework. And in 1 month alone, in just 1 month, the same surgeon didn't recommend the surgery anymore, and I saw him 6 times since this diagnosis.
So we prevented vitrectomy, which is a major surgery in the eye in the case of Jeanne. And so Jeanne is now a practitioner of this work. She studied and studied and studied, and also helped me with the latest 6-day class. I want right now to work with Jeanne on more of our principles. We're going to skip a principle, and that is distance viewing. We don't have a nice distance view here, do we? I mean, we all have this houses around our school. Distance viewing, we're going to work on it for next time, is looking at the distance, beautiful distance. But you know what? The clouds are good. We can wave our hands and look at the clouds. And any of the people who participate, again, you're not audience, because in the first place, you can call me and talk to me. See yourself as students through this webinar. Look at the distance. Open your window if you can. We're here at the porch at the school. Wave your hands to the side and look at the distance. Breathe deeply and slowly. Now, we're going to add another principle, and this is the balanced use of the eyes. For example, my right eye is my stronger eye, and it's the dominant one. So I'm putting these glasses, which are basically sunglasses. That's the only thing to do with them, by the way. Break them and keep the frame for eye exercises. I'm not serious. You can, if you drive to a sunset or to a sunrise, you can put your sunglasses on. But 90% of the time, sunglasses really weaken the eyes. They weaken the pupils and they weaken the retina. But I put the glasses here and I'm looking at the distance with my weaker eye. So you can put a piece of paper in front of your eye or cover an eye and look at the distance with your weaker eye. Look at the clouds that move. Look at the sky. Look at whatever you want us to look. Is there anything that you see, Jean, which is very interesting to your eye right now? Because the houses sure aren't, right? They're not that interesting.
We see trees there. Far away, I like them.
You
And
see
there
trees?
too. Yeah.
Very nice. Far away or just in the backyard?
It's like they're on the other side of the
Houses?
houses, yes.
Oh,
And they are,
yeah.
yeah.
Right. And we see clouds. Now listen, whenever you're in a group, two or more, each time, especially when you cover the strong eye, start to tell each other, look at this particular thing. Like when we're looking at the ocean, we see all of a sudden boats and surfers. And we're starting to share with each other the information. And the waves are forming in one place more than another. Now take your glasses off. And does the distance look any easier to look at?
Yeah.
Because now the right eye, in your case, the right eye, in my case, the left eye, now the weaker eye participates in the vision. Okay, let's sit down and do similar exercise with reading. So this time I will talk to Jean and I will ask her to do the exercise, and please at home join us. If you did download our page, that's the best you could do. If you didn't download, please order this page from us. We will email it to you, no problem. And the whole idea is to take print. This is normal print, number 3. Number 1 is bigger than normal. Number 2 is bigger. This is normal. Number 4 is already small normal. Number 5 is small number. But this is like what they put in medicine bottles. Number 6. Okay. So now what I want you to do, Jean, is put an obstructive paper over your stronger eye. So my stronger eye is the right, and your stronger eye is the left. Okay. And at any size print, and if you don't have our print, well, by all means, take different papers with different writing on them. And yesterday, I remember how my patient who had a lazy eye for life was in tears, but you could finally see some print with a lazy eye. So now, wave your hands to the side, and take a look at the print. Take a look at the print that is easy for you to see. Can you see such print?
This is here.
Okay, so read number 5 for yourself first. Then read a line or two for me and the other students in the webinar.
To adjust the eye through relaxation to all intensities of
Right.
time.
Now I'm going to give you a hard exercise. Put the page upside down. And all of you at home who even don't have that page, take written material, put it in the strong light of the sun, and put the page upside down. Okay, can you read it now?
EI exercises.
Oh, it's a bit slower, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so do it on your own for a little bit. Okay, then put it back right side up. How does it look to you right now?
Better.
Better. Now close your eyes and out loud, let's both of us say, the ink is black, the page is white. The ink is black, the page is white. The ink is black, and all the audience at home, please, don't be audience, be a student, practice, and say with closed eyes, the ink is black, the page is white. The ink is black, the page is white. Open your eyes and wave. Now take the paper off. And how does the page look to you?
Very clear.
Very clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a wonderful exercise to do. Another one is put this piece of paper on again. And take a tennis ball. We have a nice ball which is soft and color. It's good to take a used tennis ball. That's the best. You can get it for free from tennis courts. They don't need them after 3 uses. And wave your hand to the side. Again, what we did here, we did a masking tape that went around the paper. We put it right here on the bridge of the nose. We wave the hand to the side and run in place as you throw and catch the ball. Now, if there are 2 of you at home, then the 2 of you can run in place and throw and catch the ball to each other. But if you're alone at home, then that's what you do. You run and catch the ball on your own. This could be very nice group work and individual work. And I'll take the paper off. And how do the eyes feel?
I see better.
Me too. So I want to talk to those who don't have the sun in their balcony like we do. And it's wonderful that they're predicting very cold day, but here in San Francisco, we have a lovely sun. So the sun is the best. And to remind you, the sun is right in front of me. So I'm closing my eyes and I'm moving my head all the way from side to side. All the way from side to side. Now, let's say you don't have the sun. So you face the sky. You put one hand over your forehead and one hand in the back of your head. And you blink. And blink and blink as you face the sky. You breathe deeply and slowly. Now put your finger in front of you and move from side to side. And think as if everything moves opposite than the way you move. You move to the left, everything moves to the right. You move to the right, everything moves to the left. You breathe deeply and slowly. Slowly and deeply. And this is a wonderful one. Now, what we need to do is to move the opposite foot. So the heel goes down. Sorry, the toes go down and the heel comes up. So when I move to the right, my left heel goes up. When I move to the left, the right heel goes up. And it depends on the flexibility of your toes. Most people have that flexibility easily. But if you don't, it's no big deal. So what you do is you lift the opposite foot and you think as if everything moves opposite. Comparing to you, it does. Because when I move to the left, for me, everything moves to the right. When I move to the right, for me, everything moves to the left. I blink, breathe, blink, breathe, and I see everything. Houses, John in front of me, the doors, the trampoline, everything that is in my backyard moves opposite in the way that I move. Now again, I'll do sky. I'll put one hand behind my head, one hand on the forehead, and while I want to be always gentle with my eyes, I don't need to be gentle with my forehead. So I put a lot of pressure over the forehead and I blink as I'm looking at the sky. I see everything and the eyes are blinking very, very quickly. Okay, so we will do the next exercise, which is also balance use of the eyes. So we looked at the distance, if you remember, and that we must do for about 20 minutes a day. I would suggest 4 minutes, and then 6, and then another 4 minutes, and then 6. So you don't only look at the computer. The other thing, we adjusted our eyes to the strong sunlight. In my 6-day class, we also had a wonderful night walk to the Golden Gate Park. It was great. There was rain before we walked, and the rain stopped, and there was rain after we walked. Looks like nature wanted us to be there. And people's eyes really relaxed when we went in the park. So take this bowl. Oh, and I'll take one for me. That's wonderful. And we'll do this exercise of throwing the ball from hand to hand above the head. So look at what we're doing. If I put the ball in front of the left eye and I close my left eye, I will not see the ball. If I put the ball in front of the right eye and I close my right eye, I won't see the ball. So this paper that I put masking tape and was able to separate between the two eyes helps me to create independence. And it's so important because, for example, in my classes, I had a person, let's say, who saw 90% of regular vision in one eye and 5% of regular vision in the other eye. But this created independence between both of them. So I'm doing this. And I clap my hands. And I run in place. Now, Zhang does better than me. For example, can you clap 5 times before you catch? I can do the most I can do twice. Yeah, there we go. And the eyes move. Wonderful. Very good. So we will take this off. We will call for another break, and we'll continue with eye exercises. So we are returning to some more work, which I would say would be peripheral vision. So let's start and learn what it is. Most of us don't pay attention to our periphery. You use a smartphone, you look at it this way and you forget there's anything around you. You look at a computer, well, before you know, there's no floor, there are no walls, there's no ceiling. So right now, we're going to work on peripheral vision, and we start with this exercise. I cover one eye, and I wave my hands to the side, and I move my hand up and down from my hand to the elbow, but I'm looking straight. So do the same thing with me. You move your hand all the way in rotating motion, but you look straight. You don't look at the hand that you're moving because you're working on your periphery. That's the thing that so many people lose these days out of lack of use. So we move up and down, and we do exactly the same thing on the other side. You wave your hand, and you move up and down. Now, wave both hands to the side. Okay, so here's the thing. We will take 4 pieces of paper, and again, you can cut them yourself. They have different colors just so we'll recognize their sizes, but small, medium, large, and extra large. And so I will first put the small piece of paper between my eyes, and I will wave my hands to the side. Let me tell you something crazy. In my late 20s, some 35 years ago, I used to ride a bicycle with this paper between my eyes to just start and get the 2 eyes working together. So it's a great exercise to get the eyes to work together, but it's even more so an exercise that helps us relax. So if you can take masking tape, see what Jeanne is doing. She's taking masking tape. She makes it round, and now I'm putting this between my eyes, and I'm waving my hands, and I'm moving my whole body up and down as I'm waving my hands. And I can wave far from my eyes, middle part, upper part, lower part, but I'm waving my hands as I'm looking at the paper. You breathe deeply and slowly. So we have 4 size papers, and let's prepare the smallest one and all other 3. I'm taking this masking tape, and I am making like a round loop, and I'll put it right at the center of the medium-sized paper. I will take the masking tape, I will make a loop, and I will put it right in the middle of the larger paper. I will take the masking tape, I will make a loop, and I'll put it on a very large paper. So, this is a very nice invention because what we're doing is we're blocking the common work that we do with the central vision. Let's take the paper off for a second. It gives you a chance to prepare your own papers. And what the best thing to do is to wave the hands to the side. So let's say that I'm reading a page. I'm reading these letters. What is computer vision? Well, I may wave my hands to the side as I'm reading this paper. The idea is to combine between central vision and peripheral vision. And that's the most important thing. Often when you're going to use your computer, you can wave your hand because the periphery sees movement. The cells of the periphery are meant to see movement. That's the physiology of that. So if we move to the side, we all of a sudden start to notice a wall we didn't notice when we read or when we looked at the computer and read there. So now we're going to do something different. Now, again, I'm going to block my central vision. I'm going to wave my hands to the side, and I'm going to move up and down as I'm waving my hands to the side, as I'm looking straight at the paper. Now, I'm going to put the medium-sized paper on, and I'm waving my hands to the side. I'm going to put the large size on. And I'm going to wave my hands to the side. I'm going to use the extra large. And I don't like this paper. We should have a little bit thicker paper. And I will wave my hands to the side. Now I will rub my hands. And for a short moment, I will palm, but it's not a palming which is long one, like for 6 minutes or more. It's a very short palming for a breath or two. I will take my hands off and I will wave. And then I will put the green one on and I will wave again. I will take the orange one and I will wave again. And I will take the very small one and I will wave. So we had black, orange, green, black, but that does not matter because it is small, medium, large, extra large. So after doing these exercises, my periphery is definitely better. One thing I want to repeat with you those. You do the small. And you move your whole body up and down as you do it, and you wave close, medium, far. You do the middle. Below and above. You do the large. And then you do the extra large. And then we do some palming for a breath or two. And then again, we're going to do the large. The medium. And the small. Now the small looks to me smaller. How does it look to you?
Same.
Smaller.
Yeah.
Okay, we take the paper off. This is wonderful peripheral work. Now, we have here eye charts. And any one of you who does not have charts, I want you to order it from us. We can email them to you. You can print them out. And the cameraman, can you please put the camera on the charts? So everyone can stand from any distance that they want to stand from the chart. For example, you can stand, this is not to be tested. You can stand from 5 feet, which is like 1.5 meters. You can stand from 10 feet, which is 3 meters. And you can stand from 20 feet, which will be the end of this porch. Stand wherever you can stand, but outdoors is the best. And look at the chart. Okay? So, Jean, you will stand from wherever you are, look at the chart. Probably you will look at this chart, the 10-foot chart.
The 10-foot?
Yeah. So that's where we can be a bit closer. In my classes, I have some people who must look at this chart because their vision is not as acute as other people's vision. But others can look at this chart. So Jean's vision is much better than mine. She can look at this chart while I'm looking at this one. So, for example, Jean, tell me, are you able to read this line?
Page shoes.
Are you able to read this one?
See? NZCOS. V, I think.
Okay, so this is hard.
KEVRH.
Good. Can you see this one? Or is that too small?
I can see some.
Okay, so now put the glasses on. So you look at the line that it's hard for you to see. You take a ball and you visualize as if you're throwing the ball at the chart. That way, the lens becomes flat and round, and you keep thinking you're throwing the ball at the chart with your weaker eye. And you're throwing the ball at the large letters of the chart. Large letters of the chart. Very good. If we didn't have neighbors, we would throw it on the chart. On the beach, we're doing that. Now, take the glasses off. And tell me if you can read for me this line.
DC something. Something.
Oh, yeah. So DC something something
KO.
KO. Very good.
SKO probably.
DCSKO, yeah.
VRNPZ.
VN.
HD.
Beautiful. That's the 2020 line for you. Okay. So you were able to do it, and it was a bit clearer after throwing the ball. So after the next break, we are going to summarize the work with the eyes. Hi, Susanna. Looking far. So, what's your question?
Well, I have fairly poor vision, and so when I look far, it's really like just all blurry. And
So what we do, we don't have to see things. We just look. Okay. The question that Susanna had was, her vision is poor. You're probably nearsighted, right? Oh. Okay. So because you're nearsighted, it's hard for you to see the distance, but it's not necessarily hard for you to look at the distance. Look, this some student in one class was asked, "How well do you see?" He said, "Not too well." He said, "But you see the sun? That's 92 million miles away." You know, so when you look at the distance, you can see clouds. In our school, in the balcony near the ocean, you can see waves. You can see all kinds of things, but basically what happens is you don't have to try and see them as well as you'd see them with glasses. And the very fact that you let your eyes rest from looking near with time will help them to relax and see better. Because when you look at the distance, the lens of the eye becomes flat, basically. Okay? And I do recommend to use pinhole glasses if that's your question. In fact, pinhole glasses are very good glasses that can help you to have transition from regular glasses. So the way you do it is you walk in the street and you see general objects, and if you see a sign that that you don't see very clearly, then you can put the pinhole glasses on, and then you can see that sign better, basically. Well, the point is, your question was that if you see better with pinholes, should you always use them? And the answer is no. When you practice far, you practice far. And the point is, don't be intimidated by your fuzzy vision. You see fuzzy, that's exactly the natural vision that you have. So look with your fuzzy vision at the distance. Look at general points while other people may see details there. For you, it will be general. Look at the horizons. Look at different points of the horizons. get closer and get closer, and then don't look anything closer than 40 meters or 40 yards, and then look away again. So it's okay that you don't see well. It's also okay for you to look at a distance. So pinhole glasses are great. If you wear pinhole glasses, 65% of the people see better through them. But they should not be replacement to glasses. They should be a way for you to basically overcome the need for glasses. And the way you do it again is that you put the pinholes when you need to see something clearly. What's your prescription? How many diopters do you have?
It's like minus 6.5 and minus 5.5.
Okay, that is not a very, very heavy prescription. I have people with 20 diopters that can take the glasses off and see. So without glasses, is your vision 2200 or 2300? What is it? Do you know?
I don't know very well, but like to see close up, I'm holding like my book maybe 4 or 5 inches from my face.
Right, and to see someone's figure.
Features.
Yeah, features.
Yeah.
Can you see it from like 3 yards or so?
Not clearly.
Okay, good. So here's the point. The whole point is you want to look at the fuzzy distance that you have. Some people with worse prescription than yours. This is the one thing I want you to do for me for the next session that we have. Measure your vision. Tell me what is it. For example, if you see the big letter, can you just give me an eye chart so I can show it? So if you see the big letter that I'm showing now on the screen from 20 feet, then your vision is 2200. If you see it from 10 feet, your vision is 2400. Okay, so the point is that you want to measure your own vision, and I will talk a little bit about how you do it next in the next webinar. But you want to measure your vision and see what you see. Many people who see 2400, let's say they see the big P from 10 feet and not from 20 feet. What I suggest for them is to have glasses with which they can see 2080, which is more or less the third line. Okay, this is 2070, but we don't have 2080 on this chart, but those charts exist. So if you see, you have glasses for 2080, so you'll have reduced prescription for the indoors. And if you do the eye exercises diligently, also have glasses with which you can see 2040 and walk with them in your pocket. So 2040 are 2 lines above the 2020. Go to a friendly optometrist and get glasses with which you can see 2040. Walk with them in your pocket and then look at something. And if you don't see it well, first put the pinholes on. And then if the pinholes don't help, put your glasses on. With those glasses, you can drive. With those glasses, you can do chores. You can do many, many things, but take them off as frequently as you can. A person like you, I would say 20 times of the day, 20% of the day, take them off. A person who sees better than you, I would say 50% of the day, take them off. And the commitment you must make is no effort to see. Don't ever make an effort to see. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm really enjoying the webinar.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to have you here.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I'll measure my eyes for next time.
That will be very helpful, and talk to me about it. Great. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay. So I just want to review the principles, and after reviewing the principles, we'll take another break, and then we'll move and work on the spine. And I would like to, first of all, thank all of you who participated in my webinar. That is very important. I'm sorry again about some of the technical problems that we have. However, I think it's an improvement comparing to the first and second one that we had. And my sense is we're going to have more improvement for the webinars to come. But I just want to summarize some of the things. Let me first of all talk about the 9 principles. Please memorize them, recite them, so you have them in the middle of your sleep, because they're very important. The exercises are built on the principles. It's not that I'm behind any exercise. I'm behind the principle. And once you understand the principle and you work with it, you can even yourself invent some exercises that would be helpful. So principle number 1, deep relaxation of the eyes. The modern person has very, very rigid eyes and very tight eyes, and many childhood memories are in the eyes as well. And also, the modern person, especially one who needs to wear glasses, which is basically 7 out of 8 people in the United States alone, and a bigger percentage in the Orient, lesser percentage, of course, in the jungles. The bush people never needs to wear glasses. The Native Americans in Brazil do not need to wear glasses. Bedouins in the desert don't need to wear glasses, but so many modern people need to wear glasses. Well, we have rigidity and we make a big effort to see. So learning to not use glasses is important, but only if you first of all learn to relax your eyes. Second of all, adjusting to different light frequencies. Today, we thoroughly covered the exercise of sunning, and we will definitely repeat it, because this is not a TV show or media or anything of that nature. This is a class. We simply make it convenient for you to see it in your setting, but please make your setting expensive, which means be close to a balcony, be close to a backyard, be close to a park, so you can work with us and with our presentation and with our video on yourself at home. Very important. So you need to have access to the outdoors. Even in the cold, you can put your coats on and go for 5 minutes or 10 minutes while we're having our webinar and work outdoors with the exercise we've shown. So adjusting to the strong sun of the light, strong light of the sun, or adjusting to the strong light of the sky is very important. So we've done the exercise of the sky, which is blinking at the sky when there is no sun, blinking rapidly, and doing the long swing. Do you remember the long swing? In that we stood up and we moved from side to side and lifted the opposite foot as we move from side to side. Breathe deeply. It's nice to feel the waist expanding and shrinking, and visualizing that everything moves opposite than us. Then skying again, blinking at the sky again. Here in my forehead, I can put all the pressure I want because I need to. I mean, the forehead sometimes tightens and the face tightens to replace the work of the pupils of the eyes. And then we talked about, and you can, by the way, put the curtains down so I will be much clearer. We're not going to go out any longer. We're going to move soon to joints and back and circulation. Very, very important. And you can put the curtains all the way down and the blanket. Sorry for the noise that makes to all the audience, but you see me better that way. So we're no longer in the balcony. We're no longer doing the eye exercise. We're continuing talking about them a little bit. The next principle, of course, is looking at details. We haven't gone through it enough, but when we looked at smaller letters, and we tend to see, we start to look at details, and you have to make one big commitment to yourself and to me, and I'm really demanding that commitment. Make no effort to see. The wonderful caller who called me right now asked a good question. She does not see far in the distance. How could she look? That is with the state of mind. I'm not trying to see. I'm just looking. Not making an effort is a very important part of us seeing better. Jeanne never made an effort to see better. And here in her 60s, she was able to read the smallest letters, almost diamond letters. But more than that, I will remember the wonderful participant that I had in my seminar just in the last few days. I just finished it yesterday, who all of a sudden was able to read letters she could not believe she would ever read without her glasses. And so it is, and the lady was able to see yesterday well. So it is so, so important for all of you to understand that effort is unacceptable. But we need to learn to look at details. That's what helped me to get out of my blindness. I used to see the whole world as one fuzzy object. And when I learned to distinguish between details, they came to me much better. So we'll talk about that quite a bit in the next webinar. Very, very important. That's macular vision. Read it in my book. Read step number 7 in Vision for Life. I think you're going to gain from it a lot. My daughter, without a lens and without wearing her glasses that compensate for the lack of lens, was able to increase her vision tremendously by looking at flowers and looking at petals. That is, I told you already, she had a cataract surgery, but they didn't put an implant. And she was able, with her eye, without any correction, to improve her vision tremendously, looking at small details. Next principle is distance viewing. And I'm happy again for the question I had. Distance viewing is there to relax the muscles of the lens, because the muscles of the lens strain when you look from near. It makes magnifying lens out of the lens. So when you look at a distance, the lens is flat, and then it's easier for the lens to function and for the eye to function. The next principle, we talked about peripheral vision. It was wonderful to show the small piece of paper, medium piece of paper, large piece of paper, extra large piece of paper, then palm and widen the pupils and then wave our hands to the side. That was a great thing to do. But you know what? Even if you don't have the papers, if you just put your hand here and you wave your hand all the way to the side and you move up and down like this, and you do the same thing, you wave your hand and you move up and down like this, that makes a very, very big relief from looking constantly at the screen. I can tell you, because even now for a second, I feel a relief just out of doing this as I'm looking myself at the television screen where I'm on. Okay. And the next, we talked about balanced use of the eyes. When we put the small piece of paper and we wave the hand to the side and read, that was to work with the weaker eye, so the eyes will work together. When we put the piece of paper, we call it the Melissa, because I invented it for a lady by the name of Melissa, from the head, from the forehead to the chin, and I threw the ball from hand to hand. That was to create independence between the eyes, and that creates balanced use of the two eyes. It's just wonderful. 80% of people in my classes see that they have a great relief in the vision after doing that. And today, Jean and I, for a moment, experienced relief when we did that. Then looking at an eye chart, looking at the letters we can see, putting glasses with obstruction. And by the way, with them, we can look at everything. We don't have to look at a chart. We can look at houses. We can look at window shopping. We can look at trees. It's wonderful to look with the weaker eye. You break sunglasses and you put a dark duct tape on the lens over your strong eye. So if my right eye is my stronger eye, that's the lens I keep, and I put duct tape over it. And if Jean's strong eye is the left eye, that's the lens she will keep. And so what I'm saying to all of you is you can do it. You can also purchase it from us. It's very cheap. We take cheap sunglasses and do it. So what I'm saying is you can work with them and work with the ball, and we visualize it. We threw the ball at the chart, and the ball came back. Truthfully, with my class on the beach, we threw the balls on the chart, and that improved people's vision tremendously. 10 times we threw and caught the ball. You can also close your eyes and visualize a bird going to the chart and back, and that leads to good movement of the lens. When the ball is at the chart, the lens is flat. When the ball comes back to you, the lens is round. So even if you imagine it, you work with the lens muscles. You stretch them and contract them. Now, when we took the glasses off, you could see that John was able to read the 2020 line, while before she could read the 2025 line. So there was some improvement for that moment. So repetition is very important. Now, the next principle we're talking about is balance use within each eye, and that we will show on the third or fourth or fifth webinar, because that takes a lot of work. But the next principle that we talked about is body and eye coordination. And the last one is more blood flow to the visual system, to the optic nerve, to the eyes, and to the brain. Now, this becomes a very, very important thing for us to know that most people these days who lose their vision because of poor blood flow. And I will talk about it more and more. I'll start a little bit today. I'll talk about it more and more later on. So, for example, people lose their vision because of glaucoma. But why do we have glaucoma? Doctors will tell you because you have increased pressure in the eye. You have increased pressure between the lens and the cornea, and that leads to pressure on the optic nerve that destroys it. But I think that lack of blood flow to the eye, and you know that aqueous humor, which is between the cornea and the lens, is made by specific cells which are in the lens capsule, the choroid plexus within the ciliary body. And that is made out of blood plasma. If you don't have enough blood flow to the eyes, you have more pressure in the eyes. If you don't have enough blood flow to the eyes get destroyed. If you don't have enough blood flow to the optic nerve, the nerve gets destroyed. And so many times you actually moderate your pressure and you still lose your vision because you don't have enough blood flow to the optic nerve. But then we have many other problems. Bleeding, macular degeneration, wet macula. Well, I can tell you more about it and I'll do it in the next webinar. But I want to be practical right now. Let's talk about what can we do to help diabetic retinopathy, which again is lack of blood flow to the retina that leads eventually to formation of blood vessels that hemorrhage and destroy the retinal cells. What causes other problems? We need more blood to the head. All of us do, with no exception. And even those who don't have any of these problems and may never have those problems, the more blood flows to your head, the more the eye exercises work, because your body is much more compliant when there's more blood flowing in it. So let's do simple neck exercises. Move your head in rotating motion in both directions. And breathe deeply and slowly. Some of the muscles of the head connect to the neck. So for example, massage the back of your head. The way you do it is that you work on the scalp and its connection to the skull. And you will separate between the scalp and the skull. Try to feel the scalp. Move it. And now move your head in rotating motion. I wish I would know exactly how you're doing now at home, because I can tell you that 80% of the people in my classes do better with this kind of exercise. I will move back so the camera will show more of my body. And I would say the following thing. Move your head in rotating motion in both directions. Move the whole upper body in rotating motion in both directions. And now move your feet in rotating motion in both directions. I don't think the camera I've shown my feet so far. Can the camera show my feet? Yeah, good. So you move your feet in rotating motion in both directions. Now, move your head again. And many people feel a release in the neck when they move again. But now, let's do the following thing. Tap on your abdomen and say center. Center. Center, 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 center. By the way, see how the head moves. And again, I wish I would have your responses. 80% of people in my classes feel the neck is looser then. Again, tap and say center, center. And now tap your feet against the ground and say center, 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 center. And stand up and sit down. And again, tap, 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 tap. Say center, center, center. Stand up, sit down. Again, tap, 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 tap. Center, 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 center. Center thigh, stand up. Sit down. We'll do it again. Move your head in rotating motion. But now I'll show you an exercise that everybody hates me for. And please don't hate me for it because it's a real good one. But move your feet in rotating motion in both directions. Move your head in rotating motion in both directions. And see if you can move the head and the feet opposite. And most people cannot do it. The head moves to the right, but the feet to the left. The head moves to the left, but the feet to the right. That is neurological competence. We'll work on that later on. I want to talk about the back, so I want Linda to come here. So Konstantin, maybe no, Cameron, can you call Linda? And then we will have a break right now for a short moment, and then we'll have Linda here. So I want to talk a little bit about your back, and it sounds like we're changing topic, but you know, anytime that you talk about the body, you can't really improve any part without improving other parts. You could see how strong my back is, and I'm very proud of it. I'm in my 60s, my friends, and I can still have heavy people standing on my back without any problem. I can run for miles, and I'm so happy to be strong because my strength means that I can lift wheelchair patients and put them in the pool, lift wheelchair patients, put them in a massage table. We should understand the principles of working on the body. Number one, using muscles we never used before. Number two, working with the muscles that we always use in a more proper way, balanced way. Now we have more than 600 muscles in the body, and most people use only 50 out of them. So what we really need to learn is how to use muscles we never used before, and start to use muscles that we never ever used, and coordinate between them. Today, I want to talk to you about what do I do with an acute back pain. But before that, let's do just a simple exercise. Sit cross-legged like me and move your body in rotating motion in both directions. Now, those of you who have a hard time doing it, well, sit this way and see if you can move your body in rotating motion like so. Okay? But those who can, sit cross-legged and move the whole body in rotating motion in both directions. Hold one thigh and move your body in rotating motion into that area. Hold the other thigh and move in rotating motion into that area. Then change the positions and move the whole upper body in rotating motion. And then hold one side and move the whole upper body in rotating motion. My complaint in life is that I don't have back pain. It makes me feel very lonely. I can still easily do this motion, which I'm sure many of you can do as well. And this is sitting cross-legged and moving up and down and loosening my body nicely. However, most back problems are chronic and they come and go. I want to present to you one of my good friends who is also a good client of mine, Linda, and she has a major back problem. She had some falls. She also had imbalanced vision due to the fact that one eye had very dense cataract, and it took her some years to take it out. Then she had another eye that became dense, but not as dense as the first eye, and we're working on saving it. And Linda came to me after she already had several incidences of injury in her knees. And don't think that one thing does not lead to another. If your joints are stiff, and I can tell you that most people don't understand, if you have a problem with your ankle, a problem with your knee, eventually it leads to back pain. Eventually it leads to problems. All joints are connected. Today, I'm going to work specifically with Linda and her back pain. But don't think that you're not a candidate, because 80% of the people have back pain, and part of it is not treating problems as they come properly. So Linda, come here. Linda means beautiful, and she definitely is good for her name. What I need is a pillow if possible. And it's wonderful that I can ask her to go on the floor, because I can tell you that a few days ago, I couldn't have had that request from her. And now I'm not even hesitant. So go ahead, we'll go down to the floor. And you can see that it takes some work for her to get there, but she can do it. Okay. There's a problem in the shoulder. There's a problem in the knees. There's a problem in the hips. But the biggest problem right now is narrowing of the spinal canal. So now lie on your stomach. And by the way, I am aware of the fact that some of you audience cannot lie on your stomach, okay? So don't do it if you can. Linda can.
So lie on my stomach?
Yeah.
Or my back?
Stomach. So what I'm doing with Linda, and what you can do at home a lot, is first of all, Linda, bend the left knee. Let's see if you can do it. Ooh, that's so much better than I expected. Put it further down. Bend the right knee. So the right knee has much less problem bending than the left, right? So now again, bend the left and then bend the right. Oh, the left is doing better. Very good. Now let's make it even better. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm tapping on Linda's back. Feels good?
Mm-hmm.
And today I'm going to take Linda to a warm pool and work with her. What I don't want to tell you is that I'm also putting her in cold bath. So you didn't hear it, all of you, did you? Huh? But the cold really helps Linda get rid of inflammation that builds up with poor movement. So the thing that I'm doing with her is I'm doing skin rolls here on the back. And I'm tapping. And now let's work on the leg. So I'm pulling this leg and I'm bending it. And it resists. Oh, it's better now. And the first thing that I'm telling Linda is, leave your leg in my hands. And there is a real injury in the knee. And of course, out of fear that I may push a little bit beyond the injury, she could tighten the leg. But the less she tightens, the easier the leg moves. So now we'll stretch the foot. How does that feel?
Very good.
Stretch the foot. And that's not easy for Linda to stretch the foot. And that is an exercise we'll do when we finish the session. I stretch the foot and I stretch the toes. That's not as pleasant as stretching the foot because the toes are more exterior. And I will straighten the leg. By the way, straightening the leg was also an issue when we started a few days ago. And the leg is not helping me now. All right. Jean, work on this leg and I'll work on this one. Okay. So I'm taking this leg and I'm bending it. And again, There is resistance. I cannot bending to the end.
Just
But
don't hold the very end of it.
oh, okay, good.
You want a massage? Or...
Massage, yeah. And I'm stretching the toes. Okay. And so one thing that you should know, which is good for Linda and good for everyone else, don't ever insist on any exercise. So for example, lie on your back now, Linda. What I'm saying is that no matter how much I want Linda to relax, and we're doing it all in real time, she may not relax. So you bend your knees a bit more and move your legs from side to side. We're putting a pillow here due to the injured knee, so she could move her legs from side to side. And all the audience at home, or all the people at home, not audience, all the students at home, are welcome to do the same exercise. This is actually big progress for Linda. Where's the bunker ball? You have it?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you can take the bunker ball and hit your leg from the side. Hit from the side. Because there's adhesions, it's all tensing up. I just want to say, everyone, we have another 10 minutes for the webinar. So if anyone has a question, this is the time. I'll be glad to answer questions with the computer later on. But it's a very good time for you to ask questions about your back. If you have back pain, look what Linda is doing. She's breaking adhesions with this wonderful bunker ball. It's so easy. It's cheap to get. It's easy to do. Okay, and you move from side to side. Now, roll your whole body from side to side. Wonderful, she's rolling. Linda had a big problem turning, moving from one posture to another. And now she's rolling, not at the greatest ease, but she's rolling from side to side. And breathe deeply. And now lie on your side, Linda. Lie on your side here. I'll put 2 pillows underneath your head. And what I would want you to do is to move your shoulder in rotating motion. And do you remember what we did in the beginning of the webinar? I'm tapping on the shoulder tip. Okay. I'm tapping and tapping. I'm tapping and I'm saying shoulder tip, right? And you tap on your own shoulder and say shoulder tip, shoulder tip, and relax, and now move the shoulder. Keep the hand on the ground. Like an anchor, exactly. Keep the hand like an anchor on the ground.
That almost doesn't.
It almost doesn't move, right? So imagine as if it moves. Imagine as if it moves. So now what you can do is lift your leg back and forth this way. And this is an exercise that you can all do as you're watching me doing it with Linda. You lift your leg up and down like this, sideways. Okay. Of course, Linda likes it more when she hits herself than when I hit her with the bunker ball. Right? Didn't I say that? So you go up and down, yeah. Very good. Now move the shoulder in rotating motion again. Okay. And am I hurting you when I skin roll you here?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'll do it anyway. We move in rotating motion. And this is when we sometimes apply ice. Now lie on your stomach. And bend the right knee. Wonderful. And now bend the left knee. Wonderful. Not as much as the right, but more than it did. So thank you, Linda, very much. And I will continue the webinar right now myself. What?
Yes, you walk.
Good.
I'm getting up. You want to get up? Wait.
Very nice.
Oy, oy, oy. Okay.
So this is ongoing acute care as we work on somebody who is under constant pain and problems of mobility, and we have daily treatments to improve it. But let's all of us work right now on our necks. So you can sit and move your head in rotating motion in both directions and see how your neck is doing. Now, sit between your legs and sit up. Sit on one leg and sit up and sit between your legs. And now, if you have a problem with your knees and you will not, please do not push beyond your problem. If you have big problem with your ankles, the solution sometimes is simple, sometimes not. I mean, nothing is 100% in any situation. You always want to know how your back is doing. And by the way, we're definitely going to talk more about back and joints next time, as much as we talk about more vision. So now you sit between your legs and you sit up. And you sit on one leg and you sit up. And you sit on the other leg and you sit up. And let's do it again. And up. And on one leg and up. And on the other leg and up. And you know, if you don't solve those problems, they don't get any better unless you work on solving them. You know, we become miserable if we don't solve them, and the older we get, the worse they get. Okay, so for example, we can straighten ourselves and then sit between the legs. Straighten ourselves and then sit on one leg. Straighten ourselves, sit between the legs. Straighten ourselves, sit on one leg. This eventually can lead to a great solution with our back problems. Again, let's repeat the original exercise we did. You sit cross-legged and we move in rotating motion in both directions. And you move in rotating motion and you move in rotating motion. Change legs, sit opposite and the way you did. Those things are so easy, so simple. 10, 15 minutes of exercises every morning can make a difference. You can bring your eyes into it too. You can look up and to the side and down and really mobilize your whole upper body, including your eyes, as you create that movement. And I would like to finish by saying also it's good for you to massage yourself. Massage your legs in rotating motion. Massage your belly. Tap on your chest. Put your hands, interlace your fingers, and massage your lower back in rotating motion. In the middle back. And the one thought that you always want to have is of lightness. For example, I can think that my head goes all the way up to the ceiling, maybe to the sky, that one shoulder moves to one side of the world, and the other shoulder moves to the other side of the world, and that I'm really relaxed. And it's another thing that I want to talk about when you lie down. And you can lie down to sleep that way. You close your eyes and you say to yourself, my body is being carried by the bed or by the floor. In this case, is by the floor. As if the floor pushes back on my body or the bed pushes back on my body and my body falls down. Now, there's nothing to it. Physics says exactly that you put pressure on the floor and the floor puts back pressure on you. But many people sleep very curled and very tense. And this way, you can allow yourself, whether you sit, lie, or stand, to be light and to feel expansive. And it is really the message here. We do all we can do to create more space between the joints, to activate muscles we never activated before, and to prevent miserable injuries that happen to so many people. And if you have an injury that was caused by an accident, learn how to heal it and heal it all the way, or else more chronic problems and eventually acute will result. Thank you so much for being with me in this webinar. I'm looking forward to talk to all of you this Saturday. You have lots of homework. You got to do palming. You got to do sunning. You got to do skying. You have to look at the print. You have to call us and ask us to support you in getting all the materials that you need. You have to do all of that, and also some of the stretches and the massage around the head. So you only have today, tomorrow, Friday, and early Saturday to prepare. This, again, is not a TV show. I'm not making a show for you. We're in a class, and I really am thankful to the two people who called to ask specific questions, and also the person who called and asked for technical support. Please remember our number, 415-665-9575. You call to ask questions, and you can do it from the first second of the show, or not the show, of the lecture to the end. And call 415-665-9574 for technical questions. Have a great day.